Hi, good morning. We're here with Melissa Taylor from Vino Coco. How are you doing, Melissa?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Looking forward to hearing the interview. So if you'd like to start us off with telling us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for, please.
Okay, so I'm Melissa Taylor. I'm the founder and managing director of Vino Coco. So prior to this, I had various jobs in much bigger corporations, and then most latterly was head of B2B at Beerhawk. I started my career in the drinks industry, and I've gone on without really any design to do this. I've ended up working in the beer industry for quite some big chunks of my career at the beginning, and then again more latterly at Beerhawk. But actually, my passion has always been wine. I love drinking wine. I love drinking Prosecco, champagne. So as time was going on at Beerhawk, although a great job and a fantastic position at a great company, craft beer wasn't really my thing. I had to talk about it because I was selling it and speaking to clients about it. But actually, it's not really it wasn't really my passion, and I also just had this longing to set up in business on my own. So I founded Vino Coco, and really the inspiration for this was I'd been searching online for a gift for a colleague when I was at Beerhawk. I wanted to send a thank you gift to somebody to enjoy with his wife. And I just wanted a really nice Prosecco and chocolates gift set. And Amazon is always the go-to place, isn't it, whenever you're looking for anything like that. Yeah. So I was looking through Amazon thinking they'll have this incredible choice of products. Yeah. And I was really wrong about that. I found it very hard to find anything that was decent to buy, something that you would be proud to give as a gift, and ended up making something myself. And I thought to myself, there's an opportunity here because nobody's doing this very well. And I have the ability and I suppose the business knowledge and the experience to do this better. So that's why I started Vino Coco, and been going for I guess around a year now, although I didn't officially leave my job with Beerhawk until May last year. So I've been dedicated to this 100% for I guess the best part of a year now. And it's going great. So what we do, we create extremely stylish, very good quality wine and truffles gift sets. And that's where we've started, wine and truffles. So we started with just Prosecco, pink and white Prosecco, then branched out into, we've now got a range of about 12 or 13 products. So loads of different types of wines, 2 champagnes, 2 Prosecco, all come with Vino Coco truffles. But the absolute guiding principle of everything is it's very stylish. So we've created the Vino Coco branding, and the packaging, which is no attention to detail is spared with the quality and the way it looks and the way it's presented. And I guess this again was stemming from my own experience of finding this array of lackluster sort of, you could see that the ingredients they were using were cheap, but then they were hiking the price up and charging a lot for it. It just wasn't value for money. Our products are absolute value for money because what you're getting is a really top quality box of truffles and incredible wines for the price that you will pay for the other ones. And when it arrives, it looks so stylish. And when you see the feedback that we're getting from customers on Amazon, on our website, through when I've been to like gifting fairs over Christmas, the overriding comment is, wow, this looks good. This looks so stylish. And it's the type of thing you want to give as a gift. And that when it arrives with the recipient, you can be proud that their view, the impact is really good. So that's really what the business is all about. And as I say, I'm the founder and I'm the managing director, and everything from marketing to sales to production to operations to everything.
You got all the hats on in the moment.
Everything, yeah, which is great. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's actually the way I prefer to work rather than just being one small cog of a big machine. I love overlooking
being
everything.
hands-on.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So in terms of what making you different, I think you've highlighted so that quality, attention to detail in what you do, those are unique points in terms of standing out from the competition.
Yeah, I think it's every single little bit of the gift is, we've thought about how to make it look better and how to make it stand out from the crowd. Even so much as, you know, normally when you get a gift, if someone's put a gift message on it, it can just arrive on like a white packing sheet and there's a gift message.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is just not good enough. We've got these lovely glossy Vino Coco note cards, and then we print the gift messages on these gift cards and include it in the box, so that when someone opens it, the first thing they see is this lovely card, like almost like a birthday card. So every single thing about it, we just want to do better, but again, not charge the earth. And in fact, we're charging less than a lot of the competition, but doing it so much better. And yeah, I think what makes us stand out is it's the passion, I think, that I had for all these items, but it's nice to see that it's reflected in the comments you get from the consumers, from the shoppers, that they are picking out the same things that I'm really focused on. So yeah. Wow, it has such impact. It's such good value for money for what you get. And it's, you know, things like I want customers to be really delighted, not just, oh yeah, that's okay, but this is absolutely outstanding. So everything we do is outstanding. So rather than have a small cheap box of chocolates, which again most people would do, find the cheapest box they can, we've got quite a big box of 12 individual truffles. So again, there's no expense spared there. And yes, it means we're probably not making as much profit as we could be doing, but my focus is all on the first time I get anything less than a 5-star review, I'll be upset. So that's everything we get is 5-star and people are really impressed. And that to me that's everything. I never want to lose the focus on growing at the expense of compromising. So yes, Christmas was an incredibly busy month and bigger than I ever could have hoped for. But never did we lose that focus on every single unit, 100% accuracy, everything delivered on time, everything dispatched on time, the quality of everything, absolutely top. So, of course, I am looking to grow, but not to that sort of exponential level where things start to get out of control. So I never want to compromise on the quality and keeping control over the standards. And again, if the feedback started to slip, then I think you've let things get out of control. If the feedback starts to be anything less than perfect, then you've grown at the expense of, you've got to keep remembering, why did you set out, what did you set out to do, and don't lose focus on that. So yes, we have, I've got some ambitious growth targets, but not crazy, you know, let's double in a year. Let's not go for like 5 times, because then you don't know whether you can cope with that and still keep the standards high. So yeah, it's been a really incredibly fun and busy year, but yeah, definitely I'd say December was a little bit hairy at times, but
so what do you see as you say the future? You're looking to double and grow it, but not at the compromise of obviously the quality of your product and your service. What do you see as the main sort of, I suppose, what does the future look like, and what do you see as the main challenges of what you aim to do?
I think we've rolled out a lot of new products recently over the past couple of months, so it's getting all of those established and getting them to be as big as the ones that we started with initially. Getting things like review scores and feedback is really important. It's quite hard to get that in this type of industry because most of the time the product's going to the recipient. So of course it's quite hard to get feedback, and you have to really push to get it. But that's really important for businesses like us, to get the feedback scores in and to get people's comments and then give other shoppers the confidence. And I think, as with all businesses, achieve that growth and maintain those standards, but without letting costs get out of control. I've always got such a keen eye on overheads, and not just in this business, but with every business I've ever managed or gone in to manage to try to turn around, the thing that's always got out of control is the costs and the overheads. That people have grown so fast that they've lost all control over that side of the business, and then have been completely shackled by these enormous costs that really were just out of control. So for me, it's just about very sustainable growth, but keeping all those big chunky overheads under control and not letting it get silly.
Sensible plan. Yeah.
Good
stuff. So moving on to yourself in, I suppose, this business journey that you've had for a year or so, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned to date?
So not to assume, because I had a big lesson late last year, assuming that things were getting done by others, which is not like me really. I'm always a bit more of a control freak than that, but I assumed that things were getting, I was rolling out some new packaging. So we'd already come to the end of our initial batch of packaging, and earlier last year, we'd started working on a new design, more sustainable, fully recyclable, and just with the view that we were going to be rolling out a new product range of this like 11, 12 products. We needed something more flexible in terms of packaging, that we could do all these different wines and champagnes. So we had loads of time to design this, and we were working, with different iterations of the packaging and keep improving. And then we got to the point where, yeah, okay, we're going to need this in about a month. So let's put the order in, let's get it done. And only at that point did I realize my mistake, that I had assumed that the packaging company had been transit testing, sending the bottles of wine out in the box to themselves and back again, and to check that everything was tested and that everything looked as good when it arrived back as it did when it left. That hadn't been done. And then suddenly we were up against it with the packaging not arriving in time, hitting the peak season and having gaps where we didn't have anything to package the products in. And that was a huge learning. Don't assume that things are getting done.
A good share. So is there any piece of advice that you'd offer someone starting out in business, or if you to go back to meet yourself at 18 and starting out in business, any words of wisdom on an advice level that you could offer?
So I think I've mentioned it a couple of times. Start off and don't sort of commit yourself to huge overheads right from the start, because these things can become crippling. And again, I've seen too many businesses failing, not because they didn't have a good idea, and not because the sales weren't there, but because they'd lost control of the costs. And I think when you start out in business, as I have done here, I'm working from home because I don't want to be crippled with enormous rental costs and overheads of having a different premises. And I think so many people, when they start out in business, it's exciting, isn't it, to want to have a new this, a new that, a premises to work from. Obviously, some companies need it, but I would say don't shackle yourself with enormous costs, because that can come later. Try to work on as tight a budget as you can to start with. Prove that the product works before you start like getting yourself committed into contracts for these massive overheads, which you might not need at the start, because that's the surefire way to fail. And also, I think don't underestimate, even with that control over the cost, don't underestimate the amount of working capital you're going to need to get going. I was fortunate that I was in a position, having worked before this, that I'd saved enough to be able to loan the business the money. But you sometimes don't appreciate how long it's going to take to pay that money back. So make sure you have savings that you can invest, or a really generous mum or dad or someone like that who can lend you the money without interest-free loan would be great, because even when the company starts making profit, it takes a long time to be able to pay that money back, because you're always then needing to reinvest it into stock or whatever it is that you're investing in. And eventually, yes, I know I'm going to get my investment back, but it does take time, even with the most successful businesses.
Sure. Thank you for that. So what inspires you to do what you do? Could be friends, family, any books that you read, anything that you listen to, your clients, customers, and
it's 100% friends and family, I would say. I don't read enough. I read books, but not really that type of book, but definitely friends and family. I've grown up in a family of entrepreneurs and business owners, so I've been brought up like that. And my mum and dad set up and ran a very successful company for over 40 years, and I worked at that company growing up, and they're just a great sounding board. And even in the times when you're doubting what you're doing and having doubts about why did I even embark on this, It's great to have close family like that who have been through all this before, who 100% have your best interest at heart, who can just be this sounding board and give you the encouragement you need, because everybody has those moments of doubt, don't they, of like, what am I doing? Why did I give up this amazing job to do this? I'll never end up like as successful as I was. But it's great to have people who will remind you the reason why you did this and what it is that you were setting out to achieve. And because sometimes you forget that along the way, and it's good to have people to keep reminding you. And also, you know, my daughter is amazing. I've got a little girl who's 7. And she writes me little notes that I could stick around my office, things like, don't forget I love you, mummy. And it's just sometimes when you're having a bad day, the best thing is just to have that little note, and it reminds you again, what am I doing this for? I'm doing this so I've got more time to spend with my little girl and with my family, and be able to work from home and manage my own hours and not be bogged down in meetings. Let's just remember what we're doing this for, and don't get down.
Yeah.
So yeah, friends and family, 100%, always so encouraging and keep reminding you, no, because this is why you're doing this.
Very good share. Thank you very much. I like that. So lastly, in terms of any latest news around what you're up to, could be just sharing your website or anything like that, feel free.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, we have been rolling out new products. So we started with Prosecco, and then we very quickly expanded the range, and all those products are doing really well. So yeah, go online to the website. It's vinococo.co.uk. All the ranges on there. It's not an enormous range. As I said, there's only about 12 or 13 products, but it's just a lovely range of products. So every single wine, all of the major wines, Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc, Malbec, Merlot, Shiraz, and then 2 champagnes, 1 pink, 1 white, 2 Proseccos, and some alcohol-free options as well. So there should be something for everyone. I'm always willing to take ideas though. So if somebody thinks there's a massive gap in the range that they think should be addressed, then of course let me know. And we're doing very well with corporate business as well. Late last year, we started doing a lot of corporate orders, and that's probably one of the biggest surprises of December in particular, but then carrying on through the year. So very open to big corporate orders. As I say, the attention to detail that we have, I think, sets us apart from anyone else. That, you know, if you're wanting to send a gift to a client or an employee, a reward, it needs to be really good. You don't want to have the doubt about, is this going to make the good impression? You need to know it's going to be right. And I think with us, that's exactly what you get.
Fantastic. Melissa, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I hope it goes from strength to strength for you over the next few years.
Thank you.